Hello everyone and welcome to Path of Building Episode 2. In Episode 1, I created the Monster Crit Infernalist build, which was rocking 1500 critical damage bonus. I want to thank all of you for watching that video. I appreciate all the comments and feedback, and it got me hyped to make this build video. Today's build borrows the core concept of my crit build and applies it into an entirely new build. I literally just put this build together yesterday. It's still a proof of concept, but I'm pretty happy with it. And it's not the strongest build, but it's probably one of the most fun builds I've put together so far. And I promise you, this is not another Spark build. May I present to you the Fire Queen. The core concept of this Infernalist build is simple. We're stacking over 1,000 critical damage bonus and we're tapping into our inner arsonist to use 8 fire spells to bring mass destructions to the maps. We're using Fireball, Flame Wall, Solar Orb, Ember Fusillade, Firestorm, Detonate Dead, Raging Spirits, and Flammability. And how are we using all these spells? Simple. We're taking advantage of Barrier Invocation. If you don't know what Barrier Invocation is, it's pretty much a persistent buff that lets you gain energy and trigger socketed spells. It's just like Cast on Shock, Cast on Freeze, or Cast on Ignite. With Barrier Invocation, you gain energy by taking damage to your energy shield, and you trigger the socketed spells when you gain enough energy. The idea is you keep damaging your energy shield through the Pyromantic Pact Ascendancy to gain energy, and you quickly replenish your energy shield so that you keep on triggering your socketed spells indefinitely. It's an infinite loop. You're going to be playing piano with your keyboard pretty much. So you regain energy through 3 main ways. Life Regen, Flask, which is optional, and the unique synergies. I won't go over how it works, but I will include 3 YouTube channels which you can check out. These guys explain Barrier Invocation pretty well. So here are the strengths and weaknesses of this build. It has a cheap budget, for now. It has crazy AoE. It has high crit damage, over 1,000. It's great for mapping, and it's what I call chaotic fun. I personally think it's quite fun just blasting through the maps with multiple spells and just clearing mobs. It's so chaotic. And here are the main weaknesses. One is survivability. It has pretty low health with the weak gear that I have for now. It's bad at bossing. I'm still trying to figure out how to ramp up my single target damage. This is only version 1 of the build, so if you guys have any idea by the end of the video, feel free to let me know. Finally, we're gonna get to the juicy part. And we're gonna go through the skills first, and then we're gonna go through the gear, and then the passive 3. And there'll be timestamps if you want to skip ahead. So here are the skills. As you notice over here, we have 3 barrier invocations. In the first barrier invocation, we have Fireball, which is our bread and butter skill, and Scattershot, which is mandatory to give us 2 projectiles, Impetus, to give us increased energy, Considered Casting for 40% more damage, and Fire Penetration to go through enemy fire resistance. On Barrier Invocation 2, we have Flame Wall, which is our MVP spell. So you drop the Flame Wall with Fortress Support, which puts the Flame Wall in a circle. And you shoot the Fireball, and it gets extra added fire damage. Then you have Solar Orb, which applies a strong ignite to enemies. Control Destruction, to give more ailment damage, and Ember Fusillade, which gives extra Ember projectiles. This is just there to make it look cool. It's a little extra damage, but it's not really necessary. In our third barrier invocation, we have Firestorm. Now, this is a really underrated spell that I don't see people use a lot. This makes it rain fire basically, and it consumes an ignite for 10 times more damage. So in the improved firebolt, you have 10 times more damage and you have double the crit chance. We are basically guaranteeing improved bolts thanks to the flame wall and solar orb. Then we have Detonate Dead for more AoE and fire physical damage explosions. Then we have Fire Mastery, which increases the fire levels by 1. Elemental Focus for more elemental damage. And Spell Echo to do double Detonate Deads. And then we have Raging Spirits for extra damage. Vitality to regenerate 1 life per second. Feeding Frenzy, Fire Infusion, and Immolate for even more damage. Then we have Flammability, which reduces the enemy fire resistance by a lot. But really, all we're using Flammability for is to do our internal flame loop in our barrier invocation loop. We put as many mana hungry multipliers for the support gems so that we can be over 1,000 infernal flame. Right now I have 1,000 infernal flame and my flame ability is 1615. It's a little bit overkill, but it does the job. So in flame ability we have Heightened Curse, Focus Curse, Decaying Hex, Impending Doom, and Magnified Effect. And then I have Soul Offering and Skeletal Cleric on weapon set 2. This is just basically for bossing, where I sacrifice my 2 Skeletal Clerics to get 40% more spell damage. And I have Blink with Ingenuity and Second Wind on weapon set 2 as well. Now let's go over the gear. For the gear, for the wand, I'm using a fire wand with +5 to fire levels. It's pretty cheap because no one really uses fire wands anymore. Ideally, you want fire damage, spell damage, crit chance, and crit damage. And you want as low mana as possible in all your gear. You really don't need cast speed because barrier invocation ignores cast speed. And then I have the belt, which mine's corrupted, but really it just says you count as low life while at 75% of maximum life or below. And this is really good because we can get crit damage if we go to the passive tree really quick. If we go to the left here, we have Pain Attunement, which gives us 30% more critical damage bonus when on low life. And we get to 75% on life or below by going down here and reserve 25% of our maximum life for spirit, getting Baydat's Will here. And while we're on low life also, we get a pretty good synergy with the shield, which is a beautiful shield. It's pretty much made for us. So we get plus maximum fire resistance, which helps us a lot with our Infernal Pact to get us reduced damage, self-damage. And then we regenerate a lot of health while on low life. And then we have 2 Seed of Cataclysm rings for increased critical chance for spells and critical damage for spells. And it also gives us increased mana cost. And finally, our glove, which is very important here. So this is what's gonna feed our barrier invocation loop. So we sacrifice a portion of our life to gain that much energy shield whenever we cast a spell. That's pretty much how we keep on we top off our energy shield for the barrier invocation combo. Okay, for the helmet, you want life, energy shield, crit chance, and resistances. For the boots, it's nothing special, just movement speed and resistances. And for the amulet, you want maximum life, increase maximum life. Spirit is optional. You can work this build basically with 140 spirit, but the more spirit, the better. And most importantly, you want damage recouped as life. Get the life stats as high as you can. Mine really sucks, but get yours as high as you can. And then you can allocate Desperate Times, which gives us 1.5 life regen while on low life. Okay, now we'll go to the passives really quick, which is really simple. For the passives, get Pyromantic Pack, Grinning Immolation for critical damage bonus, and as mentioned before, That's Real, 25% of our maximum life for Spirit. And then here we only need one maximum energy shield node, it's 30% increased maximum energy shield. And then we're getting all crit chance and crit damage nodes basically. Crit chance and crit damage nodes. Here also. And then we are getting all the life recoup that we can. All the damage recouped as life. Oh, actually, you don't need Mind Opener Matter. That's an extra. That's a wasted passive. Forgot to take that off. So you wanna be, the sweet spot is at least 115% damage recouped as life or over. I'm at 131 right now. And my resistance is kind of crazy right now because my gear's not optimal. But you want to be at least 90% maximum fire resistance. And back to the passives, the jewels that you want to get is you want to get a couple of maximum fire resistance and some sapphires where you take damage recouped as life. And then you can get this jewel for one div. Small passive and radius give you 1% increased maximum life. And notable passives give +1 to maximum fire resistance. If you have a Megalomaniac, just allocate it to Barbaric Strength, which just gives you 45% increase critical damage bonus. Don't forget Pain Attunement here. Everything will be in the max roll link in the description down below. That's it for the passives. I'm gonna show you how it plays on maps. Just a quick note, I don't have bossing gameplay to show because it's embarrassing. The bossing is abysmal for now. It takes me over 20 seconds to kill a boss, and I'm used to 1 second kills or half a second kills. So I'm still working on the build. Otherwise, enjoy the gameplay. Disclaimer: don't try this build unless you got great gear or you know you can make it better. I myself am still tweaking the build. I mean, it's not expensive, it's only 15 div. So feel free to mess with it if you have the time and currency. I might try the Omen Crest Shield to give me 40% more increased HP. That's gonna bring me to around 4,000 health. Or I might drop the critical damage and wear all this critical damage rings, put some life rings, this low life belt, and just wear ingenuity. And here's the Omen Crest Shield that I was talking about earlier. Or I might just use the fire skills with demon form. I don't know. I think that has the most potential. I'm not sure yet. This video might be a little bit premature, but I just got excited creating the build, so I thought I'd share. So let me know what you think. If you have any suggestions, questions, or violent reactions, leave a comment and I'll get back to you ASAP. I'm gonna keep on tweaking the build and hopefully make more build videos. Please consider subscribing if you like the video. Thanks for watching so much. Until next time, keep grinding, enjoy the ride, and I'll see you later, XLs.